Hello there, it's Jenny Kirk, and going to be recording a little vlog here. Never done this before. I filmed loads for Zoe, helping her out, but I've never done this, so it's all new. And I'm going to be filming this on what we refer to as the action cam, which is some kind of Panasonic thing. I'm just looking at the side there. But starting out in the wonderful library. And I occasionally get comics? No. Well, Zoe gets the comics, but occasionally I get comments about this room here, about the books and stuff. In fact, somebody once asked if it was a green screen background that we were using. Most peculiar, because as you can see, they are all real books. And there's quite a lot of them in here. Continues over there. And the game cupboard, quite a big advocate of board games. So we've got Settlers of Catan, Ticket to Ride. That's very good, actually. I do recommend that. Risk, that's Zoe's. That's all I'll say about that. Trivial Pursuit underneath there. Apparently I'm quite devastating at Trivial Pursuit because I act like a sponge for random inane facts. So I just kind of regurgitate them at will. Oh, and Carcassonne. I think that's how it's pronounced, and that's quite a good game as well. And of course, the probably slightly more important cupboard, the booze collection. Well, some of it, not the wine. We've got a wine cellar. We've got the wine cupboard under the floor, but a bit of a whiskey stash going on at the back there. I've actually gone off whiskey at the moment. Tastes change. I oscillate between red and white wine as well. At the moment, I'm going through a red wine phase. Not that I drink a lot. And also my random wacky collection of De Kuyper liqueurs. I've got quite into them with some friends, making cocktails. So blue curacao, wild strawberry, creme de menthe. Oh god, it's like liquid toothpaste. And creme de cassis, it's like drinking Vimto neat from the bottle. Triple sec, creme de banane, that's a nice one actually, I do like that. Passion fruit liqueur, quite a selection going on in there. And this is where the magic happens. When people ask me about my writing, it all happens on this computer here, which is quite a beast stuck underneath there. There's about 11 physical hard drives. It used to be a server, but the thing about servers is you can use them as ordinary computers. And I've got a cupboard full of random model railway stuff. I seem to have acquired an awful lot of model railway things over the years, and finding space to keep them is always quite difficult. There's a few dotted around up there. And also, I call these my pension. They're actually original watercolour paintings. You might recognise that one of Bonnecord, which I think was a Coutard's work shunter at some point. And that one as well. I'm told there were some of the paintings done for Royal Mail stamps, but I've never seen the actual stamps myself. And I've got here proofs that we were sent when first Bringing Home the Stars and then Twinkle Little Star were at the printers. They send a cover proof out for your approval. What I'm going to say is really don't like it, throw it away, start again from scratch. But no, I think it's just really to make sure that things print as they should, so you can see the crop marks there. And I suppose most authors would throw them away or something. I've never really seen them on other people's walls, but they actually look quite nice in frames, so I kept them. Random various stuff, yeah. You can tell what I did for a degree at university. There's lots of ethics and philosophy books. And then we have the legal corner going on down there, and up there. And that's a shared interest between Zoe and I. Well, she's got the law degree, but I'm quite keen on the law as well. It goes with my stubborn personality. Very stubborn. Oh, and then more of the pension fund. I say this, it's a bit flippant, but it's occasionally I'll buy original watercolour paintings because they'll probably hold their value. They can't be taxed. Gordon Brown can't do a raid on your tax plan, or whoever else is Chancellor who decides that's a really good idea. And if I ever need to, sell them on again. This one's particularly good because there's a print doing the rounds of it. It's one of the reasons I go for it. So the trick to getting paintings that become worth a lot is get the famous ones. If you're going to buy a Van Gogh, get the cracked vase with the daisies. Don't get some random thing that nobody's ever seen, because the cracked vase with the daisies is going to be the one that's worth a lot of money. Got more model railway stuff over here. I don't know whether it'll show up in this light. Just random stuff that looks pretty in the display cabinets. And testament to my lack of space is that some things always seem to end up on top. But they do look quite neat, so I'll let them go. And I've got even more stuff in here. Actually, I really like Zoe for this, because most people wouldn't tolerate somebody's hobby just taking over the house in this way, but she does. She says they look quite pretty and shiny. So got a cabinet there with mostly Big Four stuff, testament to my love of diesel locomotives and electric locomotives. Top's blue for the win. And there's more over here. Picture Pride Displays probably likes me as a frequent customer. Oh, creaky door, I need to oil that. But this is largely coaches. Most of the things that you see in these cabinets are special commissions. You see the one there that I did a review of that recently. Oh, and that as well. That's the D8000 from the National Railway Museum. So watch that video and like it, and you know the score. But then also there's some stuff in here. This case is particularly good because it's the longest one that Picture Pride do in their set. And oh, I have just spotted something. Oh, have you spotted it as well? Somebody has whacked my case with something. I'm going to have to get green paint on that. That's most annoying. What is down there that somebody has been messing about? It's probably people moving the chairs. Zoe, looking at you. But we got in that cabinet a class 411 with a 419, and it's really the only cabinet, the only place I've got that you can leave it all coupled together. It's quite an awkward one otherwise. So anyway, let's go where the magic happens. The weather has been really quite meh, so lots of rain, and one of the things I want to do is actually to investigate the shed, make sure it's not leaking. Got the boat here. You can see a guided tour of the boat on a very early video. Look at me all slim and slender in it, before I discovered the joy of pies. We've got the shed, and because it is actually just a garden shed, do you need to keep an eye on it for leaks, things like that? Got it lined out, and the best way to do is make sure that you've got a dry hand. Mine isn't, I've just put it on the floor there and it's a bit damp. Dry fingers, but look for leaks, look for watermarks as well. They're normally a good telltale. Anywhere where water could accumulate or come through. And sometimes what I've found in the past when there's been a leak, because the walls are insulated as well, is that it'll soak down through all of the insulation, and you'll get a patch, a damp patch, somewhere near the bottom where it works its way through the plywood. I'm not seeing anything, but it's always worth sticking your fingers in and checking. No, there's nothing there. I need to... Yeah, that's fine. Bit of discoloration, but that's fine. Fingers are completely dry. And, yeah, don't want to be looking at her. Don't want to look at her. That's just my desktop wallpaper. Oh, must get round to changing that. It's actually from Axford's, which is a company down in Brighton that makes corsets and has done non-stop for hundreds of years. And back in my youth, used to buy a few of their products, and unfortunately, I know it's an oxymoron, but I'm getting a bit too big for a corset. But we've got the model railway anyway going on down here. Let's keep looking for leaks. There's no sign of anything. Nothing coming in down there at the bottom of the window. And now we've got the tunnel mouths to the outside world, and just check that nothing's blowing in, because that'll get into the fabric of the shed that way. Yeah, that's bone dry. I've actually got a cover on the outside, just covering that, because I was getting a problem with wind and water getting in through there, and that seems to have solved that problem. But let's just check the other one. Let's go right on in there, and this one's a bit more sheltered on the outside, so we're not really getting a problem there. Got a few bits and pieces out here. Sort of running BR Blue tops period. It's my default setting for the model railway out here. So there's a few bits and pieces. Number of road vehicles is increasing dramatically. Scania 110, just because. But the shed also gets used for all manner of other things. The obligatory half-used tins of paint, battery charger, and screws. Looking a bit depleted, because if you go and look on Zoe's channel, you'll see the videos where I made some custom shelves for her. And you wouldn't believe the amount of ironwork that I went through. But it's always useful to have an assortment of bits and pieces, because you never know late on a Sunday night when you really do need a screw. Let me rephrase that. Yeah. Because you never know late on a Sunday night when you're going to have a job that requires a piece of ironmongery that you might find in a drawer like this, and well, B&Q ain't open at that time of night. So also, this is quite old. This is, we used to call this the spares box, and this is bits and pieces actually predominantly for repairing Hornby Double O. And see insulation tabs for laying Hornby Double O 3-rail track. That's one of the little lead mail bags from the TPO set. It's probably in there for safekeeping. Spare plungers, conversion kits for converting 2 to 3 rail. And pickup shoes. I always used to go through loads of those. And any random screw and piece, and there's even a buffer there. I don't know what that's from. But it always comes in useful. Spare track pins and a few bits and pieces. Yes, a Class 55 side frame. Don't know where that came from. But it's always handy keeping lots and lots of bits and pieces, because you never know when they come in useful. And actually, my father has put in a call saying that he needs me to repair some of the old Hornby Double O locomotives, because they're starting to suffer a little bit with age, and obviously my little nephew is really taking a keen interest in model railways, and that is only to be encouraged. But what else have we got in here? Well, the rest of the railway's looking all right. I've kind of finished, to be honest, building most of it. I tinker, but that's about as far as it goes. I wouldn't mind doing some kind of semi-photographic background on there, but it's something that I've kind of worked out, is that actually if you're going to put a photo background on, it's probably better to do it before you build everything to it. But at the moment, that area does look a little bit on the bland side. And you know, where I've added buildings, where there's been space to do that, it doesn't look too bad actually. So she'll have herself. Let's cover her up in case anybody gets too excited. What am I talking about? It's my computer. Yeah, it's my computer. I just never got round to changing that in, oh God, about 20 years. But never mind. And the underside that most people normally never get to see on a model railway. The old rat's nest of cabling. I don't know whether that's actually coming up okay in this video. It's probably very nauseating following things on this action cam, because I keep forgetting that it's probably as well to hold it the right way up. And you can see the underside of the point motors there. Now, I did start out trying to get all the wire the right colour, so it was colour coordinated. You had common returns, 2 different channels for the points, different track feeds, isolating switch feeds. And then what actually normally happens is that you find you use a heck of a lot more of one colour than another, and you run out, but you've still got a massive reel that you bought for doing, say, isolating sections, and you've used hardly any of, and you think, you know what, I'll just use what I've got in stock. And then when you get a problem, it's a bugger to try and track that problem down, as I found a couple of times. But, you know, I live with it. It saved me going out and buying more wire which is always a useful thing. I've got an outboard motor there for the boat. My bosun is one of the 16, I think, prototypes that were built for evaluation. And it does mean one of the things that the production bosuns never got was a reinforced transom with a mounting point for an outboard motor. I think they just tried to cover all bases. That battery is pretty much spent, to be honest, but I keep it because it's for starting up my Volvo. I have to put it on charge a lot. We've got some maps, magazines spilt over to up here, and more obligatory bits and pieces, paints, more paints. Oh, mole slip grease, good stuff that. If you're ever doing anything with like engine rebuilds, a little bit of that in the bearings just means when you start it up, it doesn't scour all your bearings before the oil flows through the system. But yeah, everything here is working nice. Let's see what I can't even remember. I think it's class 42 with an assortment of coaches there. That's sort of early 70s, really, I suppose. But on the other track, class 108. There's a 25 there, and for some reason a J94 Wimblebury. Bought that second hand. Somebody's done actually quite a nice weathering job on it. I'm in two minds about the new DJ models, Hunslet Austerities, and I think the thing about them is that, yeah, I don't doubt they are a brilliant model, but they're you're looking at around the £100 mark, and that's a lot of money to spend on a locomotive that the Hornby former Dapol version wasn't too bad, and I'm actually frightened that if I bought a DJ Models Austerity and put it next to the Hornby Dapol ones, it would be a bit like when I put the new Bachmann Class 3 next to the old Bachmann Class 3, and then had a very expensive session of getting rid of the Bachmann, the old mainline Bachmann Class 3 shunters, and buying far too many of the newer Bachmann Class 3s. But at the moment, I'm quite happy with the Hornby X Dapol ones. I've got about 5 or 6 of them. So, to be honest, I'll leave them be. I've got other things I need to spend my money on. But let's just have a go around the bottom of the shed. I am actually out here, supposedly, to check for leaks. So, in amongst all the stuff. Oh, lead flashing. Whenever you have a roofer in and they're doing anything on your roof and they have offcuts of lead flashing, it's brilliant for weighting down models. So I kept a big pile there. And the way that people go on nicking this stuff off church roofs, you'd think the stuff was worth more than gold. But actually, that little pile there, its scrap value is probably no more than about 2p, if that. So it's not worth as much as people who nick it seem to make us all believe. We've got fence paint there. I need to paint the fence. And spare wood. Stuff for the boat. Drawers. You name it. I've got it. And I need to chop some firewood. So pick a saw. Any saw. And end up with cramp in your arm. Oh, and a fire extinguisher. Just because it's actually the one out of my old car, which I do still keep. They offered me far too little trade-in for it. It was just going to go to the crusher, and actually there was nothing wrong with it. So I'll just keep it down the side of the house, out of the way, and probably use it over the summer for towing the boat, because I found you can't actually put a tow bar on a Nissan Micra, funnily enough. Used to be able to put them on old Ford Fiestas, so I don't know what that's all about. Just see, you can see the watermarks. That's where I had a leak a long time ago, and it's left a watermark, but there's no fresh looking watermark in there, so I think we're pretty safe. But what I do need to do is redo the roof sooner rather than later. It's 5 years old, and to be honest, roofing felt, the cheap roofing felt you get, is never really a good thing. So I'm going to leave it be. Oh, she's packed up now. Yeah, what else have we got I can show you? Zoe will edit most of this out. Well, she better do, because this is long and rambly. We've got plaques up there. These were from when, a long, long time ago. In fact, you can see there, 1991, 94, 92, 1999 there. It's the Harewood House Steam Engine Rally. And used to go to that with my father with his Hornby Double O 3-rail layout. I've actually found some archive footage from some of the shows that we used to go to with that, and it was always pretty popular, pretty good crowd always watching it. But that got dismantled, and actually, I think if I go underneath this layout at certain points, it's actually built out of his old layout. The woodwork was recycled. So if we go underneath somewhere, we can probably, you can see the green and the blue, sort of the house colours for the Hornby Double O. And in fact, this is the original curtain from around the front of my father's layout. But I just recycled all the woodwork. In fact, I think over here you can still see the outline where the 3-rail track went and the little screw holes where it all screwed on. You see some point work there. Because the trouble with running Hornby Double O 3-rail at an exhibition is you go through a lot of oil, and that oil all tends to scatter around and end up on the track, and then you clean the track and it gets atmospheric dirt stuck in it, and it's actually filthy. And you used to get what I used to call Hornby Double O finger, which is your fingertips would go black with the oil and grime, and they'd actually start to sting after a while. It's probably not good for you. But luckily, don't get that with modern stuff. You can see that the Hornby Double O switches did find another lease of life. Actually, they're really good, really durable. So I've used, I think they're the D1s. Then over here we've got the G3. I don't know why they used a G. It may have been a misprint in the catalogue that I've picked up on. But I use these for colour light signals and also insulating sections. They can be quite useful for giving you an either-or system on various sidings. And we've got the old TPO, or the electrical uncoupling rail switches. You can hear them working off the CDU. And that's really all I've got time to show you. I've got a netball there. Probably ought to start doing sports. Is it a midlife crisis when you suddenly think, netball, yeah, I've neglected netball. I should probably do something sporty. Something that gets rid of this. I think I'll have a pie whilst I ponder that little conundrum. Anyway, you take very good care of yourself. Don't forget to like this video, share it too, and also subscribe to the channel. And I promise you normal service will be resumed, and you won't really have to put up with probably fisheye view of my face. And I really probably should have scrubbed up better. Actually, I'll show you a pretty thing. If you've liked this video, don't forget to like it, share it too, and subscribe to the channel, and you'll be the first to know when new videos go up showing this running and also a whole manner of other things. Anyway, you take very good care of yourself, and this is me, Jenny Kirk, saying bye for now.